remember we are in the holy presence of God, and let us adore him. Pope Francis once said to his audience in St. Peter's Square in 2014, "We are all called to be saints." And he tells us that we must remember that holiness is a gift from God, not something that we can achieve on our own. And this is a constant reminder that we aren't alone and that we are children of God. And this was something so important for Blessed Chiara Badano. She died at the young age of 18, and she is currently in the process of being pronounced a saint by the Catholic Church. Blessed Chiara Badano was born in 1971 in Salezzo, Italy. She was surrounded by her family and friends growing up. She loved doing loads of different activities and singing, and especially playing tennis. And something that was so important to her growing up was her faith. Something that she had as her support. Chiara attended church regularly, living the gospel of God in her life. And she felt that it was so important to live the will of God. Though sometimes we may not feel like we want to, or maybe we're struggling with our faith, this is something that we don't want to lose. Something that we need to remember is that we may have these feelings, we may experience this, but that's okay, because we always know that our faith will support us through whatever we may be going through. And in 2 Corinthians verse 12, chapter 9, it reads, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." And this quote shows us that the Lord will always be there for us, no matter how we may be feeling or what may be going on. And for Chiara, this was something so important to her, because at the age of 17, she suddenly had a sharp pain in her shoulder and was later diagnosed with osteochondroma, an aggressive bone cancer. And during this time, Chiara struggled to say yes to the will of God. But she did. And each time a new treatment was performed, she would say, "For you, Jesus, if you want it, I want it too," trusting the Lord's plan for her, putting her faith first. But sadly, after 2 years, she lost the use of her legs. And though she was in such pain, Chiara refused any pain relief and offered all of her suffering up to Jesus. And when she was in bed so ill, she still kept loving and kept her faith so strong. In October 1990, Chiara died at her home, but her story doesn't end there. People became so inspired of Chiara's life and her holiness that her bishop opened the cause for her sainthood. And in September 2010, she was declared blessed, which is just one step away from becoming a saint. And this ceremony was attended by over 25,000 people from over 57 different countries. The Lord really does work in amazing ways. And Blessed Chiara's life shows us that God doesn't need us to be famous. It's about what our faith means to us, about God, and for us to share the love and joy with other people. And in Corinthians, verse 16, chapter 14, let all that you do be done in love. And sharing that joy, compassion, and love with those around you. And the story of Blessed Chiara Badano really does speak to us. We don't have to do something massive to be recognised. And we are all God's masterpiece. We are all created in the likeness and image of God. And no matter who we are, our faith is what brings us together. And that we are loved by him no matter what. We are all worth so much. And he loves us for who we are. Lord, give us the wisdom to perceive you. intelligence to understand you, patience to wait for you, eyes to behold you, and a life to proclaim you. Please grant us the wisdom to share the joy with all of those around us, bringing our faith, hope, and love to you. Amen. Live Jesus in our hearts forever.